What up, fam? This is James again, and I'm just putting this out there in a bit of a pickle, because as I've been talking about my dreams and being attacked, it all kind of coincides and is related to my divorce. As you know, we have a legal system where people sign away their rights and their freedoms for the assumed justice, but at the same time, all the police, judges, and everybody are part of these Masonic brotherhoods, and or clones, and or biobots or fallen ones. So basically, a very rigged system. Especially, I was looking at a news report that was talking about the percentage of black people in jail. And 40+% of black people are in jail compared to their population. And, when you compare that to drug running, destroying the community, lack of education, healthcare, attacking us in different ways, many different ways. Biological warfare, sterilization, trying to use us as test subjects, stealing our energies, making us kill each other, creating gangs. And no doubt there are people who participate in this, but you have to, from my understanding and my experience, a lot of these agitators are actually on the other side. And they may not be necessarily like what you would call a black person. Anyway, so, forced slavery. Again. Anyway, so I'm in a bit of a pickle because, I've been a part of the system as well. And because of my Ashkenazi, Jewish, fake Jew, controller slash stepfather-in-law or father-in-law, ex-father-in-law. I've lost my IDs, and basically I'm tracked everywhere I go. Can't make any money. What happens, and I'll just explain real quick. When I decided to work, I was in Washington after about 4 or 5 months of traveling and trying to rediscover my life and get back to who I was. I found a job, and I posted pictures already. And the gentleman, Michael Perkins, is a CIA spy, a part of the system, a part of the Brotherhood, a part of the beast system. And I worked for them. I worked as a human resources director. He was supposedly paying me $160,000 a year, by the way. That's how they got me. They're like, okay. And then I proceeded to have to deal with his bullshit and, his stealing. And he told me straight up, I'm a brain eater. But he added a whole diatribe, and I've heard this diatribe before. We're warriors, and we're these psychopaths. I don't know what type of CIA program they put them through, but I hear the same things over and over again. So I'm guessing it's a very similar program where, when one of the things that he was like, and I guess it's trying to convince you that a psychopath is acceptable in society, but not going out and saying it, but trying to convince you. Anyways, he would say stuff like, and this is during a whole diatribe, that, if there's anyone ever in need, if there's any time that, people would be hurt, there's two types of people. There's two types of people. One, a person who would see the blood and be scared and run and freak out and not know what to do, or the person that would be able to do something immediately and help that person. This is the type of logic that they were using. Anyway, so, and I've heard it before. I've been in these programs before, and all the while, they're stealing different parts of our soul, and we're communicating telepathically. So it's a whole thing. It really is not like a little, like, oh, oops, I didn't notice. It's a whole program. It's a whole trained mission, and they get into it, and I've been a part of that. And anyone else who's been selected will also know that it's quite the thing. Anyway, so one of the issues I'm going through right now is that finally my divorce has come up. It's taken a week for my ex to handle the paperwork and everything, and she makes six figures, pretty much. So she should be able to handle it. And I don't make zero. I make zero. I'm homeless by choice because I decided that I'm not interested in participating or helping the negative entities destroy our society. And it's much more difficult. And just to let you know, I'm not trying to say anything bad against the people who are out there making their money and doing their thing and trying to self-empower themselves. But in my opinion, you're wage slaves. I've been a part of that. And, not only that, as I just mentioned before, as soon as I get a job, they will set up an operation where they will hound me, suck up my energy, and just use me for some particular reason. And it's usually as a battery, or trying to set up ways for them to evolve in their own way. And so these fallen angels are constantly trying to figure out ways to elevate themselves because they've fallen. They've been kicked out in some way, and so they will use people like me to help elevate themselves. So what will happen is that they'll set up a operation where they will give me back my energy. They will open up for all the energy that they've stolen. They will hit you with some type of electronics or whatever, some type of technology, and then give you back some of the energy that they've stolen. Or they probably will give you energy from a sacrifice or who knows what. But they will encourage you to meditate and to vibrate, and then then they have a specific goal in mind, something that they need to know, and it could be some type of sacred geometry or whatever, and they'll help you out. But anything that you've learned, they will steal. They will go ahead and steal it. And so I've been a part of those operations before, many a time. I mean, there are times when I went to go do laundry. A white guy shows up with an Asian woman, just happens to have weed and everything like that, and then the operation is started. And like they act like nothing's going on, but they're all connected. They all speak and set up the operations themselves. So you're a part of an operation, and they will initiate a meditative state, and help unlock you, and help unlock your chakras, and get you into the point where they will get you to vibrate. And maybe they're stealing some of that energy, but I know that they're basically taking that soul energy or whatever, that imprint, I don't know what it is, whatever that knowledge is, they're stealing it. So this is one of the reasons why I try to stay away from being in one place for too long, where they can manipulate me and take and steal, so that the fallen ones can try to rise up or whatever the fuck they're trying to do. Anyway, so I don't have any money, and I'm not going to sit on the street and beg for the beast. So the quandary is that and for the divorce I need to get a notary. I need to get it signed and notarized. Now, it's not that big of a deal to get the paperwork printed out, but the problem is that getting a notary may require an ID of some sort. The police stole my ID. I had my IDs. I was camping out at a library, which happened to also be a park. And that's another thing that I've gotten into, where they've bought up all the land and then lied and created into a park, so that they can regulate it. Everything that they need it to be regulated so that they can control it. And then hire police officers and people and call it trespassing on the planet Earth. We're on the flat Earth, but everything is trespassing. I actually just have gone through that again, where they said I was trespassing on a specific property. And because they own everything, apparently because of their fake fiat money system. And, if you're not a wage slave, then you can't buy your house and then get taxed on your own property and all this other stuff. So, it's all bullshit, all lies, and I refuse to be a part of the system. So, I don't care what they say. So, I was at the library park area, and the police came and stole all my stuff. Now, I did a previous video where I explained that I had one of the reasons why I even was staying at the park was because I saw tons of people camped out there. Full on campground. Got pots and pans, cooking utensils, tents, transportation, all that stuff. And I found very quickly, within a couple of weeks, or a week, maybe even less than a week, I started getting harassed by these negative entities, and they would send the police, they would send their grounds people, come and kick down the tent, make me move it, steal it, whatever the case may be, and then talk a lot of shit, like get in your face. And then the police, specifically because of the part of the Brotherhood, they would come and reset me. So if I had like a nice meditation session, and they would usually show up right after that, sometime in the morning, they would come and steal whatever my brain wave pattern was, and then use some type of technology to burn out my brain, to steal, to reset somehow, especially my right lobe. And I felt it. Maybe it was even a replacement. I don't know. But they would constantly do that. I've even heard terms like, "Oh, we like to keep it new," and all this other stuff. Anyway, so they would come and harass me all the time. But they would leave the other people alone. They were so, there was one lady there, probably a witch. I heard her talking in 5 different vocal cords one night. Like it sounded like there was like 5 people inside of her, and they all were talking on probably MK Ultra. And she was completely camped out, never had harassment. All the things that would happen is that they would come and say, "Hey, you should move." She would go, "Oh yeah, okay," and then they would leave. I witnessed this myself. So anyway, the cops came, and I was actually out doing something. And when I came back, they had stolen everything. All my bags, anything, sleeping bags, food, IDs. I had my IDs in my coat and my passport and in my bag. So they stole it. And they're part of the Brotherhood, so they know. So, and then I got arrested and then spent 3 months in jail. And when I tried to get it back, they told me that my ID was shipped back to Washington, D.C. My social security card was shredded, and my passport, they have no idea where the fuck it went. So that's the quandary that I'm having, that they do this horrible thing. And so if there's any suggestions, I would like to hear it. Any prayers, please give it, so I can get divorced and removed from their beast-like state. I'm sure they plan this as well, and it's a very difficult thing to deal with. But anyway, that's kind of the story that's going on right now. Peace and love, fam.